Are there steals inside the top 25 overall? Today we're going to talk about what players inside the top 25 overall could be absolute steals in 2023 fantasy football. ADP data is extremely useful. ADP data is extremely powerful. And if you know how to analyze it, know how to retain it in a way that helps you on the fly, and you know how to draft around it, you can absolutely annihilate your league. So we're digging into ADP. We're going to do a series on this every week. Hit ADP from different angles, like top 25, like this episode right here. Top 25 ADP steals. Who are the best ADP steals in the later rounds? Who are ADP avoids? We're going to hit ADP data from a different perspective every single week. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
ADP data. ADP data is such an important tool that I feel like a lot of people don't use properly, because ADP data should be drafted around every single time you're on the clock. Sometimes we reach for a player we love. Sometimes we have to have said player. Sometimes we'll take a player at the bottom of round 3 instead of, trying to maybe squeak out a round 4 selection because we like a player in round 4 that can kind of make up the difference. So there are times to go ahead and make a sacrifice and reach for your guy. But there are a lot of people, and we do a lot of mock drafts together, so I'm not going to throw any names out, where I feel like there needs to be more of a little strategy session around using ADP walking into your upcoming mock drafts and best ball drafts to prepare for the big day. I know some people's big day is best ball. Some days, some people love best ball so much that is your day every day. Your big draft day now became every day, because now you can draft on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. And it is true. Every day can be draft day. It's kind of an exciting thing. Underdog will match up to $100 in your first deposit. So if you have not yet gone over to Underdog and use code Smitty, and here's the link right here. I just dropped it. If you haven't used code Smitty, get on over to Underdog Fantasy right now and sign up so that you don't miss out on drafting when we draft tomorrow night. We'll probably draft tomorrow night. Panic Chamber is usually going to be Tuesdays. We may draft again tomorrow night as well. We might do 2 shows tomorrow night. But our draft nights are now marathon weekends, essentially, that we kick off early on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, mock draft and live draft marathons every single weekend until the season starts. Tuesday's typically going to be Panic Chamber night, but we might draft Tuesday night as well. Live whenever news breaks, live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. But I mean, ADP, I'm going to get to the news here in a second too, but ADP is so useful and nobody uses it properly. No one does. We're in here. Where's George from the Bay? I don't want to call anybody out, but like George from the Bay, if you used ADP to your advantage, you would build unstoppable teams, because you think like the show, you implement a lot of the same players, but you don't take advantage of the ADP. You don't take advantage of the ADP. I'm going to go over ADP right now, and we're going to look at this. We're going to go over the news in a minute, but we're going to look at ADP data inside the top 25, and we're going to try and identify players that are sticking out like sore thumbs. And it's harder to find those players inside the top 25. And some people will say, oh, you can't find a sleeper in the first round. I can. I'm looking at one right in front of my face in Bijan Robinson, who he's climbing up draft boards and ADP rankings like a madman, but he's still sitting at 6, 7, 8. He's still sitting at the 6.7. Really, every other draft I do, he falls to 7 or 8. Every other draft I do, he goes at 5 or 6. He's going to bounce around 4 to 7, just depending on how late night you're drafting, how many grandmas are in your league. Are you drafting in a home league where, this guy's the hometown hero and he's going to go number 2 overall? A lot of people say that about Joe Burrow. I live right next to Joseph B. No way I get him in round 2. Like ADP, you can only use ADP so much, true, but ADP is so powerful. Why is ADP so powerful? Because it's a suggested rank to the people drafting. And granted, you want to know the ADP for your platform. If you're drafting on ESPN, check out the ESPN ADP. Look at the ESPN pre-draft rank, the suggested rank. It will guide people. You're giving people too much credit when you walk into your fantasy football draft assuming they know as much as you, assuming they're watching a daily show like my show. You're giving these people way too much credit. Way too much credit. And to assume that a league full of magazine drafters that are barely catching up are going to be drafting Bijan at 6.7, they're not. That's why that value can dip into the 8-9 because of the grandma leagues. If you're drafting with a bunch of seasoned drafters, they mock draft like crazy, they're going to know Bijan's here. I had a conversation with my buddy just yesterday, and I told him, you've been so out of football, you barely know who landed where in the NFL draft. And I basically told him that Bijan's my number 1 overall running back. He thought I was the craziest person he'd ever heard. His exact words were, "I want to punch you in the face," is what he said. I couldn't believe how off he felt about it. And it goes to show, this is one of my longtime buddies. We played a fantasy league. We played in fantasy football since we were, since we were in high school together. And this guy was shocked that Bijan Robinson maybe could be a second round pick. Anybody not deeply invested in fantasy football right now has no clue where Bijan Robinson's going. If you go up to a magazine drafter and tell them Bijan's going at 6, 7, 8, they will say, "What? What, are you out of your mind?" Tell me you're not embedded in fantasy football and NFL news right now without telling me you're not embedded in NFL news right now. What? Bijan that high? Oh, I guess you've never done a mock draft this offseason. Oh, Bijan, the number 2 or 3 running back as a rookie? Are you out of your mind? Guess you've never done a best ball draft this offseason. That is Bob. Bob doesn't do this year-round like you and I. We're here 24 hours a day cranking out best ball drafts on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Link is in. Did I pin the link? I think I didn't pin the link. Let me pin the link. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Okay, link has been pinned. If you want to be in the drafts, let's see, did I pin it? If you want to be in the drafts tomorrow night, you got to get into that. Let me drop it one more time. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. I dropped the link just now. I'm going to pin it right now. Oh, I know why I can't pin it. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm going to pin it right now. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Pinning it right this second. Boom. If you want to be in a draft tomorrow night, go visit that link right now. Link's in the description of every video I have too. You will not get in if you're not already signed up and ready to rumble. Let's take a look at this ADP data. I'm not going to say that Jamar Chase at number 2 isn't a good value. It is. It is, but are you getting a steal? No, you're not. Are you getting a steal with anybody really in the top 3 or 4? Probably not, because you're drafting them at ceiling, but you're okay drafting them at ceiling because you feel pretty confident that they're going to produce that ceiling value, right? So, number 1, number 2, number 3, you're not picking value grabs there. You're getting the luxury of consistency at that top of the draft. But these guys are still going to potentially outscore every other wide receiver. So you could argue a sense of upside that is present, the upside of having the number 1 overall pick. But when you get to Tyreek at 4.9, the 4th ranked player, and Kelsey at 5.4, this is a territory where I want to trade down. I want to trade down every single time. I would rather have a 3rd and 4th round pick, in a sense, than the number 4 overall. And that's a crazy proposition. And if you think about it, we could pull that off. If you went to somebody and you gave up your 1.4 for their 3 point whatever, their third and their 4th. And I'm not saying to do this because you can get more than the 1.4. I'm about to show you what you need to do. But think about this from a logical perspective. if you could get Breece Hall and London for Tyreek Hill, are you not doing that in a millisecond? The answer is you are. So I guess the question I have is, do you like Tyreek Hill at number 4? He's okay. But if I can trade down and get a third and fourth rounder, which you can get more, I'm just giving you the worst case scenario. That's a home run. That's an absolute smash. Even if we decided to go, you know what? Let's go wide receiver. Let's go wide receiver in the third. Or you could swap these. Would you take Christian Watson, and London for Tyreek Hill? The answer should be an astounding yes. I would, Smitty. I would do that in a heartbeat. That's a third and fourth rounder. Does anybody understand how lacking in value the number 4, number 5, number 6 overall pick is if you in a context and in a world where you can trade down? The 4 pick is not valuable like it is the 1 or 2. It is literally, you could look down and say, could Diggs outscore Tyreek Hill? Absolutely. Could JT outscore Tyreek Hill? Absolutely. Could CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson? I'd rather have Garrett Wilson and Christian Watson, which is a deal you can do. I'd rather have Garrett Wilson and Christian Watson all day long. All day long. All day long. 1.4 Tyreek Hill or Kelsey. Give me Garrett Wilson, who you're getting in round 2. And let's just say you get back a 2 and a 4 for a 1.4. Watson, you can't read that. Watson plus Garrett Wilson for Tyreek Hill or Kelsey, whoever you're drafting with that 1.4. It's just an absolute smash. It's an absolute smash. And we got some negative chatter about Bijan. I'm not drafting Bijan nowhere. I think you're trying to say nowhere inside the first round. I'm good. The only running back I would draft is CMC.
Hi, my name is B. John Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring.
Nowhere in the first round. Nowhere in the first round. That is crazy, bro. That is crazy. Nowhere in the first round. I could understand saying, you know what, I'm not ready to go 4 or 5 or 6, Smitty. I'm just not. And you know what I would say, Swaggy? I get it. You know, the first astronaut didn't want to get in the shuttle at risk of the shuttle blowing up, you know, and some of them blew up, bro. You know, so I can understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, bro, what about that guy that first cracked into outer space? You know, not everybody wants to be that guy, Swaggy. Not everybody wants to be that guy. Smitty, you thought the same thing about Najee Harris. Please explain. Please explain what? Please explain what? You want to take a previous prediction and a player that has nothing to do with the situation and tie it to Najee? You want to talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Najee? Not to mention, Najee Harris earned the value, Swaggy. You're proving my point right now. Najee Harris, I told everyone his rookie year to draft at 10, and people laughed at us. He earned that value. He crushed that value, Swaggy. What are you talking about? Yeah, we do need more of this. Swaggy, tell all your friends not to draft Bijan in the first round. Please tell all your friends. We need more people to think like that. That will help. That will help keep him out of the top 5. Upgraded member now, bro. See you on the next text line. Sick Nasty, upgraded YouTube exclusive member. If you guys want to get on the Zoom calls every single Sunday, you just head on over to the join button on the main page of the YouTube channel, or click memberships, either one. And if you're on mobile, you're just going to click this memberships tab, and there'll be $1.99. Or you could just click on this link right here and become a YouTube exclusive member right this very second. I'll pin the link right now. YouTube exclusive members get that green name, all the cool emojis. Guys, drop a couple Bijan emojis and show everybody what they look like. But appreciate you, Sick Nasty. Just Sherman says 3.2 rookie draft. Downs or Brown. I'd probably go Chase Brown, because Downs will probably fall a little further. You might be able to get both of them that way. So definitely feel like I would go Chase Brown. Plus Chase Brown. I like both of them, though. I want both of them. Bijan will be the biggest bust in NFL history. I feel like you and Swaggy are the same person, to be honest, because you guys always post the same stuff. But you're in the same chat at the same time right now, so this does seem like maybe you are two different people. But you guys are always against something that's Bijan the biggest bust in NFL history. Receipt taken. Hey, you can drop right here, $50 super chat. Your prediction goes on the wall. Anybody that wants to do this, $50 super chats, put your receipt on the wall. We'll review it at the end of the year and see whose prediction was the best. This is the $50 board, and this is where the bold stuff happens. This is where the receipts are taken. It's receipt season. And we've got Ron Navy on this board. We got Matt O on this board. Irv Smith, top 7 tight end. Bengals win the Super Bowl. Matt O dropping some boldness on the board there. And the best prediction's going to not only get a chance to co-host a show with me, they'll get a lifetime membership to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Maybe a whole bunch more. So any $50 haulers, you can put your receipt on the board. We'll reflect on it all year. Biggest bust. This will be a good one. Do a negative bust prediction here. Okay, put it on the board, bro. Biggest bust in NFL history? Woo! Woo! But I love Swaggy. I love Swaggy, though, coming in here and trying to drop the, you told everyone to, first of all, the you told everybody to do this and it didn't work out is the most lazy and boring game and take in existence. Like, Swaggy, you should know better than to come in here and say, oh, but you said this about so-and-so. Bro, do you know how many people I talk about all the time? Do you know how many predictions I land? How many predictions I miss? I miss a lot of takes. I'll give you some more ammunition. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, very high on Clyde. He busted. Does that mean I don't cross the street anymore, Swaggy? Should I not cross the street ever again because of Clyde Edwards-Helaire? What about all the other predictions we've landed? What about the one you just brought up, Najee Harris, his rookie year, being the number 10, 11 overall pick, and everyone said, stay away from it. He's a rookie. Stay away from it. Look, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, stay away from Najee. What about Clyde? This is going to be a Clyde repeat, Smitty. Was it? No, it wasn't. So, Swaggy, I don't know how you used that answer. I don't know how you used that example of Najee Harris. I mean, I don't even understand it. Let me troll in peace. If you choose, bro. Okay, so let's get back to the ADP. So 163 of you in here, punch that thumb up button. I'm astounded that we have any Bijan haters in here at all. We have not had very many Bijan haters, period. And now I didn't know Swaggy was one of them, but the fact that you think he's not worthy of a first round pick, Swaggy, this is going to be a painful year watching Bijan Robinson be running back 1. Painful year for you, pal. You're going to be watching going, you're going to be one of those people wishing for injury just so it can end. You're going to be like, oh, can this end somehow? Can this end somehow? Unbelievable. Swaggy, drop a 50. Put it on the board. Okay, drop a 50. Put it on the board. Be the only anti-Bijan predictor so that we can come to this board at the end of the year. And if you're right, you can tell everybody. You said it in front of everybody. Receipt season, baby. Receipt season. ADP data. Bijan's a steal, despite what Swaggy just said, despite what OK just said. A steal at 6.7 to 8. I mean, the later you get him, the better. 7, 8, perfect position for him. He's running back 1, in my opinion. He's running back 1. I want him over Christian McCaffrey. In fact, I'm taking him over Christian McCaffrey in best ball drafts. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Link is in the, well, let me drop it again. Link is in the live chat right now. You'll want to be ready to go and signed up for tomorrow's best ball drafts. I'm drafting Bijan over Christian McCaffrey. I'll take some McCaffrey shares. I like to mix it up a little bit, but Bijan is fine. To the moon. Diggs, I'm not liking Diggs' value at 8.4, considering what I just said earlier. Trading down. Trading out of this first round pick. Diggs, Hill, Kelsey, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp. Why take a player there? If you can trade down, and not every league can, in a best ball draft you can, but if you can trade down and turn Tyreek Hill into a Watson and Garrett Wilson, or even a London and a Watson, or maybe you turn it into a Joe Burrow in round number 4, right? So you trade for a 4th rounder. Burrow. You trade for a 4th rounder in Burrow. You trade for a 3rd rounder in London. And you give up a top 4 overall player, whoever it is, Tyreek Hill, whoever. Burrow in London, absolute smash. Absolute smash. Absolute smash. I think I got a super chat here from Ron Navy. Swaggy would be Bijan lover if the Bills got him. Maybe he would. Yeah, you're right, Ron. I could picture Swaggy putting those like what are these faces? Let me see if I can find the faces. He'd be putting this face right here. This is what Swaggy would put. I'm trying to find that. Where's that steam face? Yeah, this is what he would do. He'd go like this. Bijan, running back 1. This is what he'd say. Swaggy, this is what you would exactly say if Bijan was drafted to the Buffalo Bills. This would be your take right here. Right here, bro. You would do this. You would come in and you'd say Swaggy, and you use a little steam emoji, and you say running back 1. Bijan, running back 1, bro. You just hate him because he's on Atlanta. Atlanta ran the ball more than any team in the NFL aside from the Eagles, who you're calculating all the Jalen Hurts running, which is why they were the number 1 team in running the football. The Falcons were in the top 2, arguably the number 1 running back team in the National Football League. And he's going to a great environment. Bijan's a steal. JT at 12 is pretty good. If I was to pinpoint right now there's no steals. It's JJ, Jamar Chase, McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Kupp, and then Bijan. Bijan's the only guy I like so far in terms of like amazing value. JT at 12 is pretty good. JT at 12. Garrett Wilson at 14 is fantastic. Garrett Wilson was going in the top 10, 11, top 9, 10, 11 before the super drafts kicked off, or the super flex draft started kicking off on Underdog. So right before the NFL draft, Garrett Wilson was right around 9, 10, 11, 12. Now Garrett Wilson's around 14, 15. Now Garrett Wilson's your second drafted player. Garrett Wilson as your second drafted player is way better than your first drafted player because the upside is tremendous at that point. Garrett Wilson's an absolute monster as your second drafted player. Almost a can't miss. This guy could be wide receiver 1. It wouldn't shock me if he was wide receiver 1. There was a lot of people that claimed that Jamar Chase was being overvalued walking into last season when I said he was my number 1 wide receiver. Granted, he got hurt. He definitely didn't finish as the number 1 wide receiver. But Jamar Chase, to me, was the number 1 wide receiver last year. And I believe it to be the case now. And now you're seeing a lot of people putting respect on Jamar Chase's name when it was laughable to take him as the number one wide receiver last year. Laughable. Why was it laughable? Why is it not laughable now? Because people are coming around on Jamar Chase. Same thing about Garrett Wilson. People are going to laugh about Garrett Wilson at 14 overall. You know, like I see some comments in my videos and in my Instagram clips on Garrett Wilson predictions or whatever saying second round. Like they're shocked. This is tell me how out of fantasy football and NFL news you are without telling me when you come into my comment section and say something like, yeah, Garrett Wilson, second round, isn't that high? Where have you been? Where have you been, Ben? Where have you been, Ben? Really? You really don't know that Garrett Wilson's a top 1 to 5 wide receiver? This might be the biggest deal so far. Looking at the top 25, Garrett Wilson, 14 overall. Could be wide receiver 1, 2, or 3 overall in 2023. It's not that difficult, folks. It is not that difficult. This is a second round wide receiver that could be as good as anybody you're taking in the top 2, 3, 4, 5 overall territory. Garrett Wilson to the absolute moon.
To the moon.
Barkley 15's not bad value, guys. Not bad value. Why do I like JT at 12.2 and Barkley at 15.5? Because they still could be the number one player at their position. Like, can anybody with a straight face say that JT has no chance of being the number one running back in fantasy football still? He got hurt last year. The offense fell apart. They got Anthony Richardson now. They're going to be moving the football down the field. Does anybody really, really believe that he has zero chance of being the RB1? I'm not saying he'll be my RB1. I'm not saying he's anywhere near it. But when you can say about a player you're getting essentially as your second drafted player, when you can say this player has a shot at being number one at their position, that is value. And the same thing can be said about Saquon Barkley. Can you get Saquon Barkley in a territory where he's your second drafted player? Yes, 15.5, confirmed.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Can said player, Saquon Barkley, finish as a top 1 to 5 running back? Absolutely can. Bob, tell him what he won.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Saquon Barkley's a value. Amon-Ra St. Brown did have round 1 value for a little short period of time in best ball drafts. Underdog Fantasy. Link in the live chat pinned. Link in the description of every video. When we draft on Underdog, we've seen Amon-Ra creep into 9, 10, 11, 12. And I said when that happened, I didn't like this, man. He was a second-round monster. He was a second-round, one of the better second-round picks in fantasy football, this St. Brown guy. Love him. To the moon.
To the moon.
Moon Man extraordinaire.
The Moon Man, dropping loads in outer space.
This is this year's Moon Man list. Let me see if I can find last year's Moon Man list, and we can pull it up.
Space Monsters.
It is, where is it? Moon Man. I have it somewhere here. I want to pull up the old Moon Man list. I can't find it right now. I'll try and locate it. But this guy was on the Moon Man list last year. I have the yearbook. The yearbook will show pretty much all the big hits that we had. This is a good-looking graduating class from 2022, I must say. ETN, Walker, Hall, towards ACL. Best couple down in the corner, Chase and Burrow. And most likely to succeed was a major disappointment, but maybe he's a late bloomer. This is a good-looking Moon Man list, a breakout list. And we've had people tell us that the 2023 version of the Moon Man list is a little light. And I love to hear that. You know I've got a big grin on my face when someone tells me that my breakout predictions look weak. Because then I'm not going to hear, oh, those are easy. Those are easy. Those are easy calls, Smitty. Well, when people are telling me that this Moon Man list is lacking, that it's a bunch of stashes and backups, I get excited because it looks like a bunch of absolute monsters.
To the moon.
Here it is.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
It's certainly cultivating in front of our very eyes. Even Walker and Charbonnet,
Space Monsters.
they don't get removed from the Moon Man list because of the situation that's involved in Seattle. They actually just stay on the list and turn into and morph into different Moon Men, like different angles that we're taking. 4th and 5th round steal, especially if you cuff them to Charbonnet. Fields is going to be a top 5 monster. Flowers, I love the value. I still feel like there could have been maybe better landing spots, but it's still a good landing spot. He still could be the number 1. It just, you're not sure what the volume's looking like. This guy's number top 5 to 10 wide receiver. This guy's a top 1 to 5 wide receiver in Wilson. This guy Olave's a top 5 wide receiver. Kincaid's a top 5 tight end as a redraft tight end, and in my top 1 to 3 for Dynasty, top 10 running back in Gibbs. Bijan, my number 1 overall running back, a top 5 to 10 running back at Hall. Kyle Pitts is going to be a top 5 tight end, maybe top 4 tight end. Pickens has that huge upside. Watson, top 10 wide receiver. This Moon Man list is straight fire.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men.
And our Mars men, many of the same individuals. Throw a Burrow in this mix.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
These guys are bringing you to the promised land. Our Moon Man and Mars Men list look phenomenal. And we've got the interstellar galaxy situation cooking and brewing. I'm going to get more going. Don't worry. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, love his 15.7 value. This guy made me sad when he climbed into the first round temporarily, but now he's back in round 2, baby. Josh Allen, Mahomes, and Hurts are all absolute screaming steals at 18 overall. And we do have the whole, do you want to draft one of those guys in the second round early QB, or go early QB with a guy somebody plucked from this group? Joe Burrow. Somebody plucked Joe Burrow from the 18 overall spot, because guess what? That's where he was going initially, right when the NFL season ended. And we did our first couple mock drafts. Joe Burrow went really early. He has since fallen, or he did since fall, into round 3. Then when Fields got all the weapons and the acquisitions went down, and Fields climbed up into round 3, Burrow jumped down into round 4, and he sometimes lingers at the top of 5, but is very, very well nestled into round 4. So the only reason I don't go these routes more often than not, because I think you can absolutely win with early QB, and people are crazy that try and argue that there's no value in this. It's absolutely insane. I argue it every offseason. I feel like the Robin Hood of early quarterback. I'm out here just protecting and serving and trying to defend the honor of these guys in round 2, because they're steals. They are steals in round 2. They deserve to be in round 1 territory, to be quite frank, but because people don't understand that, it's absolute glory. But the only reason I don't love drafting Josh Allen, Mahomes, and Hurts is because Joe Burrow belongs here as well, and he's sitting in round 4. So it's really the only move to make right now. I do mix things up and do some variation, but putting all my eggs in one basket is a risky proposition. It is. But when you talk about Joe Burrow in round 4, he belongs here. Somebody grabbed him, plucked him, and threw him in round 4 and said, oops, I misplaced Burrow. Anybody seen him? He's in round 4. Okay, leave him there. I'm going to draft him there. Thank you. Now I've got a top 18 overall player in round 4. Smash. We're not talking about the top. We're talking about the top 25. Joe Burrow's not in it. But I do like these values in a nutshell. Waddle's a little high for me. I'm not going to lie. Waddle, I like as my 3rd drafted player. Similar to how much I love St. Brown in 2. But I'm disappointed he goes to 1. I love Waddle in 3. I love St. Brown in 2. But I don't love Waddle at 19. I don't. Tyreek Hill's the number 1 on his team. I can't justify taking a T. Higgins or a Jalen Waddle, a number 2 wide receiver, even though the offenses are potent. Okay, they're very, very nice offenses. But I can't take my 2nd drafted player. My 2nd drafted player can't be the number 2 player at the position on his team. I just can't do it. Nick Chubb's too high for me. I like Nick Chubb in round 3. Nick Chubb oftentimes falls to round 3 more often than not. So this is a confusing ADP rank for me, because he's always in round 3 in my drafts, but his ADP, his average draft position, is 21. but he's usually available. Chris Olave, very sad day to see him cement into round 2. He's now a staple in round 2. He no longer falls in round 3 pretty much ever. And he used to be a round 3 monster. And let me tell you something. We cleaned up drafting Chris Olave in round number 3 all off season long until this month of May. We got a gift all off season long. St. Brown I keep saying St. Brown. He's the next St. Brown. Olave round 3. Olave round 3. Smash. My favorite player probably of all the offseason in terms of cost of entry was Olave round 3 because he's a top 5 wide receiver in the making, and you got him in round 3. That is the craziest ROI, the best return on investment, the best value and upside and ceiling for a player that there was. Plain and simple. Olave in round 3 was stealing away a championship from your league mates if you do half of your job correctly on draft day and surround yourself with other talent. Olave, we cleaned up, and we've done a lot of best ball drafts. We've got a lot of dynasty people out there making moves. Olave to the moon. I have to say, you guys have been amazing. Keeping his ADP as low as possible, not reaching too high. He's now at 22 overall. So what's the consensus here? What am I saying? Am I sad? Am I avoiding him now? Absolutely not. Olave at this value is still Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Olave at 22 overall is still to the freaking moon.
To the moon.
And Olave is an absolute monster and really should be a part of the tripod.
The tripod, also likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, are constructed using burrow.
But don't worry, because we're putting him on the 4 horsemen, and there'll be a 4 horsemen update soon that will tell you how to smash your league with 4 individuals, a combination of different guys. It's not just 4 names, but the 4 horsemen has been replaced because of Kenneth Walker. This was the old 4 horsemen.
I give you the 4 horsemen. Jamar Chase, Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Joe Burrow, all from the 1.1 draft slot. The 4 horsemen ride 4 horses all at one time. Giddy up.
Now, because Walker's value took a tumble, we can no longer apply that approach anymore because now we have to redo the second round pick. But everything else is still fantastic. And the reason I even bring that up right now is because one of the guys on this list,
I give you the 4 horsemen. Jamar Chase, Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Joe Burrow.
Breece Hall, round 3. Breece Hall, round 3. You can still get Breece Hall. Do you see Breece Hall on this list right here? The answer is no. Breece Hall didn't make the top 25 overall. Breece Hall is going in the 3.1 to 3.5 range still. And that's a fantastic protected in. Risk is all baked in. You don't have to worry about a single thing. Completely baked in. 3rd round value coming back from the ACL tear. He'll be fine. He's ahead of schedule. If there's any sort of setback and he's not going to be ready for week 1, we'll adjust and adapt. But everything's pointed to him being totally ahead of schedule. And at 3.1, it's a smash. He's not in the top 25. And I put him on the graphic of this video because literally he and Olave and Garrett Wilson are still the biggest steals of the top 25, or top 25-ish, because Breece Hall didn't make it around. And Tony Pollard ain't bad at 23 overall. I like him better at 3.1 to 3.5, similar to where Breece Hall is. If you can get Tony Pollard to slip just a little bit, because it's not going to be crazy to imagine Tony Pollard going from 23 to 25, 26. If you can get Tony Pollard in round number 3, cuff him to Deuce Vaughn. You got to cuff him to Deuce Vaughn. Tony Pollard and Deuce Vaughn together are an absolute glory. Absolute magic. Absolute safeguard your running back 1 if you invest in Pollard. If you get Pollard in round 3 and you cuff him to Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn, I got a little something to show you about Deuce Vaughn. I called Deuce Vaughn on draft day. Hey, buddy. How's it going? It's going good. This is Smitty. My phone wasn't working. Looky here, man. You want to come to work with me on Sundays? I wouldn't mind that at all.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
When you own Deuce Vaughn, You have a sense of security in your belly. You sleep like a baby if you've got Tony Pollard and Deuce Vaughn. These two guys combined are absolute gems. A safety net. One of the best pairings in fantasy football. Deuce Vaughn, they love the kid. And you could say, oh, he's too small. He's 5'5", Smitty. No one's ever played running back and done well at 5'5". You can use all this historical data to shoot down somebody's potential to be an outlier. You can all you want. You can shoot down that stuff and say, if it's never happened, I don't believe it. You can be a negative Noah if you want. We don't care. All I know is this team loves Deuce Vaughn. All I know is there's a lot of magic going on in Dallas in terms of this draft selection. His dad scouting and them drafting him, his dad calling him up, kind of like I did on draft day. And if anybody didn't see that, that's what that's playing off of. But he called up his son and said, you want to come to work with me on Sundays? It was the best draft moment, period. They love this kid. There's a lot of good story. I can see it now. Who, raise your hand if you can't see it, or you can, whatever. Yes, no in the comments. Can you see it right now? I hate to say that because that means that Pollard would have to get hurt or something, but maybe misses 2 games or whatever. I can see it right now. Or even if he plays the Zeke Elliott role and Pollard's fine, Pollard explodes. Pollard needs Deuce Vaughn to carry some of the load. Pollard does not need 22 carries a game. I can see it right now. The story being told week 8. This kid, his dad called him on draft day. They replay the moment all over and over again. I can see it right now. If anybody doesn't like Deuce Vaughn, you aren't paying attention. And somebody said, don't sleep on Malik Davis. I like Malik Davis if, let's say, something goes south with Deuce Vaughn. He's not a bad cuff, but he's not as special. Deuce is just crazy gifted finding a seam and literally taking off and slipping through the seam and going 50 yards. It's hard to... Sproles was a lot bigger than him, too. Sproles was a lot bigger than Deuce Vaughn. So to take away some of my ammunition and saying, well, Sproles did it, I'd be lying to you if I said Sproles was your vision for what Deuce could be, because Deuce is a lot smaller than Darren Sproles. I think Darren Sproles was 5'9". And I think he's 5'9", and this kid's 5'5". Deuce Vaughn's 5'5". Priest Holmes was 5'9". So, you can be small. But wow. What an unbelievable story that this father gets to call his son and say, come to work with me. You want to come to the Dallas Cowboys? Come to work with me. Hey, buddy. How's it going? It's going good. This is Smitty. My phone wasn't working. Looky here, man. You want to come to work with me on Sundays? I wouldn't mind that at all.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy. Every Deuce owner should have that moment with Deuce. Call him up. Tell him you drafted him. Tell him he's on your team on Sundays. And he will tell you, I'll gladly come to work for you and your fantasy team on Sundays. To wrap up the ADP show, or this part of the show, and then we'll do news, and then we'll take phone calls. Olave, absolute smash.
You've just been Smitty approved.
What an unbelievable, player this guy is. What an unbelievable asset you could still get at 22 overall. A guy that could be number 3 round guy in your grandma league. Olave could fall to 27 overall in your grandma league. But assume he's going at 22, 23, 24. So if you get the turn picks, I've got him at the turn a lot. If I get the number 1 overall pick, I go Jamar Chase. This is probably one of my favorite draft strategies in 2023 from the 1.1. And this is what the 4 Horsemen is going to show you. So if you have, let's say you have the 1.1. You take Jamar Chase right here. You take Olave right here. And you take Joe Burrow right here. It's an absolute smash. Home run, win a league, walk to the bank.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Hit the take a lap on accident, but that's for any of you doubting this strategy right here. How's that? Burrow, 3rd round. Olave, bottom of 2. Chase, number 1. Is that not one of the most amazing teams you could field? And then right here, you get London or Watson, whatever player. of your choosing. Or if, let's say, you roll the dice and this would be an absolute home run too. Actually, this would be the best one. You keep Burrow here, and you could swap these two, and you get Gibbs right here. Now, Gibbs might need to be taken at this third pick eventually because he's going to climb ADPs, but Gibbs right here, Burrow here. Who would not walk straight to the bank? Who would not walk straight to the bank? Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Chris Olave, Jahmyr Gibbs. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me that isn't some of the best drafting you could possibly do from the 1.1 draft slot. Somebody call in and tell me I'm crazy. I dare you. I dare you. Chase, Burrow, the stack, Olave, Gibbs, or London if Gibbs gets sniped. This is unbelievable season right here. This is glory season. This is knock it out of the park season. Olave smash. Pollard pretty decent. I like him at the top of 3. Devontae Smith, I like him in round 3. I do love him, but in round 3 a little bit. Waddle I don't love. Hurts, Allen, and Mahomes I like, but I just love Joe Burrow so much more. Garrett Wilson's a smash. Barkley's pretty good. That is your top 25 ADP rankings. Let's hit the news desk. Let's roll.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
We do have a little breaking news here. Hitting the news desk, we have news right here. Jahmyr Gibbs is still in the 4th round. His ADP is still in the 4th round. Unbelievable. Unbelievable breaking news. I didn't think I'd ever be breaking this report on May 8th. I don't know if we'll be breaking this report more and more, but Jahmyr Gibbs breaking news is inside round 4. Go get some. As far as these other pieces of news out here, we've been talking a lot about this kid, and I hate to continue to beat a dead horse, but this news dropped today. Your boy, it's so funny. Whenever we go crazy hardcore on a player, a new moon man like Dalton Kincaid.
The Moon Man, dropping loads in outer space.
Look at this man, Dalton Kincaid. Moon man extraordinaire. Top 3 dynasty tight end, top 5 redraft. Space monster indeed. Whenever we go all in on a player like Dalton Kincaid, it is quite ironic that things start popping up right after. And then people start talking about it. Then everybody catches up. And now everybody's going to be talking about him being in the slot. You hear it all the time. A lot of casual comments like, Smitty, I like Dalton Kincaid. He's going to be playing the slot. No shiat. No shiat. We've been saying that for a while now, bro. He's going to be playing the slot. Now you've got this. Oh, have we not been saying this for a long time now? According to ESPN, the writer believes the Bills will use Titan Dalton Kincaid more like a wide receiver this season. I wonder who's been saying that for the last, I don't know, couple weeks and loving this kid's upside all offseason long. I wonder. Dalton Kincaid, top 5 dynasty rookie pick. Don't think about it. Just do it. Okay, just do it. Top 5 redraft tight end. Top 5 redraft tight end. Top 1 to 3 dynasty tight end. Quietly, my number 1 dynasty tight end. No, I'm not going to buy him at that level. No, I'm not going to draft him at that level. No, I'm not going to trade for him at that level. But Dalton Kincaid, hold on. We're not done with Dalton Kincaid. Hold on. Dalton Kincaid is an absolute menace. And he's going to walk out of 2023 not even fully polished. He's going to walk out of 2023 with a lot to be desired. Left a lot of touchdowns and receptions on the field, dropping stuff, running wrong routes, learning protections, and he'll still walk out with 8 to 10 touchdowns. What does that tell you? That his situation is gold. He's quietly my tight end number 1 in Dynasty. I love Dalton Kincaid. You have just been Kincaided, and I hope all of you understand and appreciate what that even means. Yeah, Ron, I got that news as well. The Pacheco surgery. It's not the best news we've heard. Pacheco, we'll get to that in a second. But Kadarius Toney, the Kansas City Chiefs are talking about this kid and talking about him in a way that really you should get extremely excited about. Kadarius Toney's got a whole lot of upside. However, I still think that Sky Moore has a potential ability to unseat Pacheco as this so-called anointed 2023 wide receiver 1 in KC. Veach, who knows his players, he's a very good scout. KC GM said, I don't know if there is a limit on Kadarius Toney's game because he has a vertical game. They talked this kid up as they traded for him for a reason. He's got so much talent. He's playing with Patrick Mahomes. The sky is the limit. But bro, it's one of those situations where you're playing with fire if you take him too high. If you take Kadarius Toney as like your high-end wide receiver 2, you're playing with fire. I'd rather take Sky Moore in the double-digit rounds than take Kadarius Toney too high. But do I think Kadarius Toney could excel? Yeah, I mean, I think, do we have him on the satellite men list?
Satellite men.
No.
Space cadets in training.
No, we have Pacheco on there, who we're going to talk about next. But it's one of those things where I'm excited too. You know, this is a guy that we loved in the offseason, or in the in-season 2022. Remember? He was one of the top pickups of the year. There was excitement. We thought coming off one game that he was going to explode, and then he didn't do anything that next game. I think he even got hurt. Then in the playoffs, he looked decent at times, but we have no real reason to bank on him. We have reason to be optimistic, but people are drafting him sometimes as their high-end wide receiver too. That is not advisable. This guy is a potential head case still. He's an injury-prone player. There's a reason the Giants traded him. There's a reason the Chiefs traded for him. But he's got to stay on the field. He's got to be healthy and stay on the field with the mental situations that he puts himself in. So I'm going to say tread lightly. And as for Ron Navy's Super Chat, this was next up. Isaiah Pacheco, hand and shoulder surgery. 2 off-season surgeries. And for a guy that runs as aggressive as he runs, where's my other clip? I had all this on my screen and I must have deleted it. For a guy that runs as aggressively as he runs, you've got to be, where's this other piece of news? You got to be worried about what kind of injury situation this guy could be looking at mid-season. So if you draft Pacheco too high, then all of a sudden you're going to be left in a bind if you don't go ahead and cuff him to this man right here, Jerick McKinnon, who was re-signed and brought back with the team. And this is fantastic news. If you need a deep running back 3 or even some sort of like very cheap running back 2 strategy, this is it right here. This is a very good plan of attack. You go Pacheco in round 6, which is about where he's going. That bakes in the risk of the hand and shoulder injuries. It does. If he climbs into round 5, I start getting worried because of this kid and how hard he runs. And if he had a labrum tear, you guys know my whole thing about labrum tears. Labrum tears are brutal. Your ball and socket in your shoulder, it basically fits perfectly where it can slide in and out. Then you have a labrum, almost a seal that you can imagine going around this in a circular fashion. This seal that keeps that ball and socket in place. And when you tear that labrum, you tear the seal, then the ball and socket slips out. And it's a very painful situation. Now, he played with this injury, which was very interesting, in a good and a bad way. But Pacheco runs so aggressively, like he's running into brick walls. It's not surprising he broke his hand and his shoulder. It's also not surprising because he's such a tough runner that he played through it. But you got to wonder how many games can he play at his style. So round 6 with a cuffing of a very late double digit near the end of your draft, Jerick McKinnon, not a bad running back too, but you have to cuff Pacheco to McKinnon. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts around it. You have to, because Pacheco, the likelihood of Pacheco playing a full season at his aggressive style of play is slim to none. Kendre Miller, Saints love this kid, and you need to draft him in all of your best ball drafts. Promo code Smitty, link is pinned in the live chat. We draft tomorrow night, And this kid should be on your radar in the double-digit rounds because he's exciting. He's tough. He was our number 3/4, 4/5 running back before the draft happened. And not that the draft landed him in a bad spot. It's a pretty decent, quietly crafty, could be a very beneficial place to be later location. He didn't really move up or down. We love Kendre Miller. He was exciting. Like if he landed in a starting spot, he could easily be the number 3 or 4 overall rookie in 2023 rookie only drafts. That's how good that's how much we projected for Kendre. We like Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller has huge upside, said Jeff Ireland, GM of the New Orleans Saints. And if you draft Alvin Kamara, who's falling in round 7 and 8 sometimes on Underdog Fantasy, again, promo code Smitty, link in the live chat, link in the description, drafting tomorrow night. Get prepared. Click the link now. Get signed up so you're not missing trying to sign up last second when I drop the link. But if you draft Kamara in round 7, you got to get Kendre Miller. They're just like Pacheco and McKinnon and Kendre and Alvin. This is like, it's handcuff season. It's handcuff season. There are a lot of good handcuff situations, but Kendre Miller has tremendous upside. Absolute tremendous upside. Zach Evans getting a little love from the Rams coaching staff. Rams coach Sean McVay said that rookie running back Zach Evans has some special traits. I don't trust Akers as far as I could throw him. Dude was one of the most injury-prone players to me before his Achilles tear. I put that out there on record. Said he's one of the most likely players to get injured in what year was that? Look, I don't love Zach Evans. I think that he was overvalued. Some had him as like the number 2 and number 1 running back in the early talent evaluation process, but not me. This is a guy I've been avoiding for the most part. Appreciate all these YouTube exclusive members. I don't know if somebody dropped if those are renewals or if somebody dropped a YouTube exclusive membership gift, but appreciate you. I'll be looking out for you. Zach Evans, cuff him to Akers. If you end up going Akers, it would be a smart move. Let's hit the phone lines.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show. Phone lines are wide open. We'll talk about whatever you want. $20 super chat gets you a full, intense marker board breakdown. The $50 hauler gets you on the board behind me. If you want to drop and put your receipt on the big board and get into the whoever gets the best has the best prediction by way of the fan voting. I'll probably have final say if it's a close or a tie, and then and that person will co-host a show. They'll also get a lifetime membership to thefantasyfootballshow.com and maybe some other stuff. Drop your prediction on the board, people. $50 haulers get you in the door. We got an area code 513. Area code 513. Oh man, I accidentally hit the wrong button. George from the Bay, you're live on the show. George from the Bay. Call back, guys, if I hung up on you on accident. Yeah, George.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, pal? I'm good.
So the other night, I tried to do your conservative approach and follow the ADP, and honestly, I didn't like the team very much as I do when I reach.
I feel like I wonder what draft pick you got. You know, I was
at the 1.7.
1.7. What was your team?
I went Cup first round, and then you could say this is a reach, but I took Olave at 2.6.
No, I like Olave. I like that. But you also did one. You also took one approach, one time going wide receiver. Not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying like I don't know that I'd snap judge it yet. But go ahead, keep going. You got Cooper Kupp, Olave. So far, I like it.
Yeah, and then Etienne at 3.7. And then I was trying to go for Burrow at 4.6, but he got sniped. So then I went with T.J. Hawkinson. So I faded the quarterback, and I was planning on going Lawrence in the 5th round, but then he got sniped. So then I was kind of like in a predicament. I was like, what do I do here? I didn't like Aaron Jones. I didn't like J.K. Dobbins, so I just went with Michael Pittman. 5.
But see that, but see that's not even a very Smitty team though. You know, but I think you got to try it again because, bro, I'm telling you, you have good instincts for it. You fall in line and in tune with a lot of what the show cranks out. So I know you will absolutely smash these drafts if you're a little bit patient. You could do a mix of reaching, like the Olave, take him, reach a little bit for Olave, fine. Bijan, even Bijan, if he was there, obviously at 1.7. But the moment you get a good like lay of the land, once you get Bijan and Olave, and if you ever get that approach, that those two players, Bijan and Olave, and Joe Burrow, just try your best to sneak out sneak out a player. Like if you get Gibbs in round 4 and you get like Watson or London that next pick, bro, that's a smash. I mean, imagine this team. You can't get this team if you're reaching too much. But Bijan, Olave, Burrow, Gibbs, and like London. This happens so many more times than I can describe when I'm doing best ball underdog drafts. That team is fire, bro. That team is so good. That team is one of my favorite assemblies that I can throw out there. I mean,
and I felt like right after round 7 is kind of like that dead zone, and then like I started reaching for the guys I like anyways after that. Like I took Kincaid in the 10th round. That was a steal, and then I got Mingo after that. And then Laporta in round 15. Like those are like the guys I'm really high on this year, and that gives me depth because I already had Hawkinson at tight end. So my tight end room is Hawkinson, Kincaid, and Laporta. Like I feel like that's a stack right there. Like that's unstoppable.
Hey, real quickly, hang right there. Swaggy would be a Bijan lover if he went to the Bills. Ron, I did get to that. Thank you for that super chat. Ron said Deuce Vaughn equals Tom Cruise. Yeah, they are about the same height. That's a good point. Why is T-Law not? Are you still here, Garrett? Why is T-Law not a moon man, Smitty? I mean, we sent him to the moon on the daily. We just can only fit so many moon men. He's gonna be a satellite man for sure. We're coming up with a astronauts in training. I don't know if I'm gonna replace satellite men or satellite men will just be the alternate team to the moon man, but we're still gonna have an astronaut in training section. But T-Law will definitely be on one of our lists. I love T-Law. I just can't. I only got 14, 15 spots for the Moonman list, so I've been holding off on putting him there. But I absolutely love him. Pacheco recovering from surgery. Thank you, Ron, for that. Why is T-Law? I think I'm caught up on my super chats. Okay. Speaking of Ron, you're live.
Hey, I want to talk about the Steelers. Can we do that?
Ron.
Dear Lord. You said we could talk about anything we want, right?
Be brief.
That would be a great April Fool's joke. No, I'm just messing with you.
Oh, okay. God.
No, from your last show when I was in there talking about that was all directed at Swaggy. Because everybody knows, anybody who watches knows, anytime Steelers talk, Swaggy's always pushing my button. So Swaggy's the Bills fan, so I had to go in there and give him a taste of his own medicine. That's what the last show you did.
Swaggy not liking. Don't you feel like Bijan should be a Swaggy guy? Like I feel like it's landing spot only that's making him not like him. That is such a Swaggy. Oh, you can be like I don't understand why he's biasly against Bijan. Not a first round pick. Are you out of your? What are you talking about, Swaggy?
I got laughed at for taking Bijan.
There were rumors that, Buffalo was going to try to get Bijan, so he was kind of butthurt, I think, and now he's like anti-Bijan.
Yeah. What'd you say? Is that Bruce? Bruce?
Yeah.
What's up, Brucey?
I had one of my redraft leagues today, and so the first 3 picks were JJ, Chase, and CMC. Well, I had the 4th overall pick, and I took Bijan, and they all laughed at me.
They did, huh?
Yeah.
So so basically they've never mock drafted. They've never toyed around with best ball drafts. These are magazine marks. Magazine Marco. Magazine Marco just strolls right in with his magazine that has Bijan in the 15 range. Hasn't been updated. 15 overall. 15 overall. Bijan.
Because I knew he wasn't going to fall back to me. So
I mean, maybe
took
he
him at
would have,
4.
though. Maybe take a lap, Brucey. Maybe you could have got him in the second round. With these
I
guys.
don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have risked it either. I wouldn't risk it at all. But yeah, look, this is not laughable. They don't have the right. They don't have the right to laugh. Like, I'll call one of them up right there. You call them on three-way right now, and I'll question them right now. If you want to call your commish right now on three-way, go ahead and do it, and I'll ask him to explain himself. Go ahead. I'm not down on the Steelers this season. Last season, they had a rookie QB, says Hod Prime. Kenny Pickett, Matt Canada. Najee to the moon. I was shocked about. I don't want to get into the Steelers, Ron, too much. I mean, you're allowed to talk about the Steelers, but we do get into the Steelers a little heavy. It just like, Niners come up a lot, and it's not because I'm a Niner fan at all, but there's just so much drama with both situations on this show for some reason. But yeah, but sometimes there's reasons we need to talk about it though, because I don't just bring up the Niners to just bring it up, but like if something comes out on Darnold, something comes out, like we got to talk about it. There's so many players impacted on that. But Swaggy telling me that me calling Najee a top 10 pick his rookie year is proof why Bijan's gonna bust, just like you called Najee, Smitty, huh? Yeah, exactly. I mean, Najee earned his top 10 overall value. We were heroes for that move, bro. Najee had an amazing rookie year. What are you talking about, Swaggy? You're reaching on that one. Garrett Wilson fell to you at 19, Max. That is insane. That is insane. That's the kind of stuff that I want George from the Bay to experience. I just feel like he never can.
I got a question about Garrett Wilson.
Who said they had a question?
Oh, this is Jordan.
Jordan, what's up, Jordan? You're live.
Hey, yeah, I got a question about Garrett Wilson. So I know he has Aaron Rodgers now, but that wide receiver room is kind of crowded. Does anybody have any worry about
Is it? Why is it crowded?
Well, I mean, Lazard, Hardman. It's not. I don't know.
It's not crowded at all. It's not crowded at all, bro. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not crowded at all. Lazard is okay. Can you pick out other wide receiver twos that are better than Lazard on teams that have a really good wide receiver one? Tons. Lazard, yeah. Lazard and Mecole Hardman's not even healthy, bro. He can't even play. If they were playing right now, he wouldn't no way be able to play. Like, he's an injury-prone guy, special teams potential guy. Mecole Hardman's a threat as much as I am. I'm gonna catch more balls than Mecole Hardman in that New York Jets offense, bro. Don't worry about Mecole Hardman. Lazard is a comfortable player. Cobb, these are comfortable guys, but these guys don't threaten Garrett Wilson's work.
Don't forget about Corey Davis.
Yeah, those guys are nothing compared to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's an absolute target hog, and Aaron Rodgers speaking about it is such a nice little additional piece of security and comfort for you, because Aaron Rodgers was out there throwing to him, and he said, quote unquote, wow, that they're very similar, number 17 and number 17. He was trying to compare the two. There's just no, Lazard is okay. He's a very decent player for Aaron Rodgers to have. It's very nice that he has some comforts from home brought over, but Lazard's not taking away anything. He could also do well. I'm not saying Lazard can't be a good wide receiver 4 or 5 for your team. He'll catch maybe 5 or 6 touchdowns. He'll have maybe 800 or 900 yards. Could he have a 1,000-yard season? It's possible, but he's not very. He isn't really able to stay healthy, and so a 800 or 900 yard season and 5 TDs will have no effect on Garrett Wilson's 14 touchdowns, 1,400 yards, 115 receptions. Garrett Wilson's going to the moon no matter what. Lazard ain't holding no one back.
And Cobb is a pity pick.
Yeah, Cobb's there to just.
I don't know what they're planning on doing. Rolling them down the field in a wheelchair, because they don't need Cobb. Cobb is a hindrance, and Cobb shouldn't even be on that team.
And Jordan also, Garrett Wilson has 14 to 16 overall ADP. And that package is in so much risk, it's not even funny, bro. If he was going as your number 1 overall player, it's not that I wouldn't advise it. I still like Garrett Wilson at 9-10 if his ADP's there. George, don't go draft him there. George is going to start drafting Garrett Wilson in the first round. You don't have to. This guy's in 14, 16. Yeah, you won't give him in every draft, but you'll get him in enough drafts when you have that draft slot where he's there that you could diversify in a very comfortable way. But Garrett Wilson, 14 to 16, Jordan, there's no question at all about volume for him. None. Because Aaron Rodgers just told you he's in love with him. This is his Watson. Whoa. Frankie. You're going to have to mute yourself on that one, bro. That is about as loud as we've heard in quite some time. Sounds like you're in a 747, up 35,000 feet in the air right now, about to jump out of the plane with a parachute. So just hang tight real quickly till we call on you. Let's go over to Dakota Dave. You're live.
Yeah, hey, Smitty. Thanks for the Pollard Deuce Vaughn video yesterday.
You bet.
That was a great. I love Pollard, and it seems to me like mid-second round is, fair for him. And, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like I would rather have him than Saquon or JT. Is that crazy?
It's not crazy. Just make sure you're drafting him appropriately. If you get Pollard, you have to get Deuce Vaughn. Some will say Malik Davis could still be a threat, and you'll have to watch that because Malik Davis, I think, is decent enough. He doesn't have a big resume at all. It was a little bit of just a little flash of what maybe he could do. He does not have much volume to go on. But Deuce Vaughn is the special story. The vibe is there. I can see it now. And you can say, Smitty, this is an exact science of yours right here, saying you can picture it. The fact that they've talked him up so bad, he's a weapon. He's a 3-down back. They love Deuce Vaughn. They took him really early. They essentially drafted him when his dad was a scout here for the Cowboys. And they said you earned every ounce of it. This had nothing to do with your dad. It just was like a great story, just an unbelievable draft day story. And as much as this is not science, I can envision this for some reason being a story later on. And that doesn't mean Tony Pollard's got to go down. It just means that he'll get a little bit of that Zeke Elliott action. And there could be some big games where you're actually starting both of them in some sort of injury and bye week situation, and you get good production out of both of them. Like the Dallas Cowboys did pretty well with Zeke and Pollard last year, and I don't know that McCarthy calling plays is going to end up being good or not. Like, we don't know yet. But I will say that if Pollard and Vaughn get more volume than Zeke and Pollard got, that there's a real good shot that you've got a handcuff above a lot of other handcuffs. Like, it's a really nice top level handcuff, but it also could give you some extra like wiggle room at running back if you need it. But Vaughn is an absolute must, bro. And if you miss out on getting Vaughn, who goes in round 16, 17, 18, and sometimes undrafted, if you don't reach at like 15 to get him, it's your own fault. You have to make sure he's not floating up the running back suggested rank to where he's like the 5th running back left of the top suggestions, and you just sit there and go, oh, I'll take him next round, and then somebody snags him from you in round 15, and you're like, what did I do? So you got to have both, bro. But drafting Pollard over Barkley is kind of not advised because Pollard is almost a 3rd round player. He's going at 22. The ADP's right here. The ADP tells us that Tony Pollard is going at number 23.2, which means that you're more often than not going to need to take him in the 23 to 26 range. But I can tell you right now that this ADP data right here, 23.2 means, really what it means is it's not 23. It's above 23. And so you're going to see him at that 24, 25, 26 area more likely than 23 because it's not below that number. So I'm finding Pollard at 3.1 to 3.2 very, very often. And I don't know what draft pick you have. Do you have your draft order yet? Are you talking in general? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about your favorite platform, the ESPN, which is what my league uses.
And what pick do you have?
Yeah. So they've got Pollard at 20 or 21.
And what pick do you have?
Oh no, this is way in advance. I'm doing all my research for August League.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just wait and see. He could fall. If I had to guess, bro, if I had to guess, he's not going to rise. He'll probably fall. Depends on like if there's some big news on him like in practice looking phenomenal or something. But if I had to guess, this Deuce Vaughn talk hasn't really affected the ADPs because Deuce Vaughn talk has been about 24 to 48 hours worth of it's been around. So could I see Pollard going from literally 23 to 26? I really could. So and sometimes a player like Pollard doesn't fall because there's bad news. Sometimes he falls because other players just have good news and they jump above him. So keep an eye on it. But, bro, you don't want to – Barkley, you're drafting at 12, 13 overall. Pollard is 23, 24, 25. So you don't want to make that draft selection. You don't want to take Pollard at 12, 13. It's too high. You're not packaging in any risk. You're taking it at his ceiling because if Tony Pollard finishes the number 12 overall player, you'd be screaming from the rooftops because you won your league because that'd be a home run. Doubled in value. He would have doubled in value at the end of the day. So you definitely can't take him there.
Okay. One other thing I wanted to mention was I saw today that the Cowboys picked up an undrafted fullback, and I forgot where I saw it.
Who did the Packers?
The Cowboys.
Oh, the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's something that he could be doing some of the goal line work conceivably, right? And keep Pollard a little fresher.
No. I'm not concerned about a fullback, bro.
Okay.
Let me take a look at the depth chart real quickly. And are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about. They signed today.
Lepke?
I saw the story today. So I figure it's real recent. I don't know if it was actually today.
I don't know. I don't see anything new. You avoid a player because of a fullback, bro. You may fullbacks get goal line work. It's like a rare let's try and trick them. Give it to the fullback. That's very rare.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate as far as I'm thinking, Pollard could get 20 TDs based on getting Elliott's 10.
Yeah, Rico, I'm not worried about him. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that Pollard doesn't get all the work because Deuce Vaughn, not because of the fullback. So if Deuce Vaughn gets, some touchdowns, that's fine. Zeke Elliott got touchdowns too. I doubt they give Deuce Vaughn what they were giving Zeke Elliott. And if Deuce Vaughn gets that kind of volume, that means Pollard's probably hurt. Yeah.
Right.
Sam says the fullback's going to get 3 carries in the next 5 years. Bro, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the fullback. Hey, hang tight. You can stay on the line. You can whatever you want to do. I'm gonna cycle around. Let's go to Matt who hangs up. Not Matt Biaggia, the other Matt. Matt who hangs up because he'll probably just leave. So we might as well get to him real quick before he hangs up. Go ahead, Matt.
Can you hear me, Smitty?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thanks again, as always, for taking the phone call and remembering my name. I'm the 916 guy.
Yeah, what's up, pal?
But yeah. So I know the last couple times I called in talking about the rookie trading. I had the 101 and the 102 in my 1QB PPR league, and I was talking to the person last time I called about the 103 trying to trade back. And we got a trade done like a half hour ago, so I'm just in here to report the trade.
All right, let me get my take a lap button ready, but go ahead, read it off.
Okay. I traded the 102 and Cam Akers. I traded last year for Cam Akers for a 3rd round pick, and so that's why I flipped them here. But I'm trading the 102 and Cam Akers for the 103. The 202 and a team 24 first next year, and the team's a bad team. It's gonna be like a top 4 pick. for next year's rookie draft.
It's so tough. It's so tough. I'm not going to make you take a lap on this, but the 24 first is nice. Like, if this ends up being Marvin Harrison Jr., like, then obviously you crush this trade. If it ends up being the number 5 overall pick, I'd rather have Gibbs. So it really does come down to maybe you still get Gibbs and then you crush the trade. But if Gibbs is worth the first round pick to me. Giving up a first round pick to secure Gibbs, having to choose from one of these wide receivers where I hate their landing spots and I feel like everybody's trying to will this to happen. Everyone wants to will these wide receivers into existence to be elite wide receivers. I just don't know that I think the better values are Mingo and those guys later. I really do. I think Mingo could be the number 1 wide receiver in the whole group. I'm not going to draft for that. I'm not going to count on that. I'm not as excited as everybody else about these wide receivers. The difference between 1.2 and 1.3, assuming this person feels the same way and they take Gibbs, the difference between 1.2 and 1.3 is worth giving up a first rounder to me just to make sure I get Gibbs. But maybe you get him. I don't like going wide receiver here. I really don't.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I know it's a non super flex, so I know it's easier to start 9 or start 10 and have a stacked lineup. But my thought was trading 2, and I'm a big Ohio State fan, so I'm kind of biased towards Jackson Smith and Jigba. So, and I've watched him since he was 17, coming the freshman year behind Garrett Wilson and Olave. So I mean, I'm biased towards that, but I mean, I just figured if I was to get Bijan and Gibbs at the first 2 picks. My team is my only other asset's Deshaun Watson. My team is awful. I've stockpiled picks the next couple of years. So I figured by the time I'd be competing, Gibbs would be like 24, 25 at that point. So he just kind of be sitting away on my team while I'm, just so bad. So
Gibbs would be sitting away on your team?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to be any good.
Okay, I got you. So you're worried about by the time you're ready to go, his shelf life will be gone. I don't know, bro. Right. I hear you. I don't think it's bad. Like, it depends on who you get at 2.2. Like, if Dalton Kincaid fell or something, then you'd be calling back up saying, I got JSN and Dalton Kincaid. I'd be like, great. If you get Charbonnet at 2.2, I've seen Charbonnet go at 2.2 a lot this week. A lot. And so I'd be okay with Charbonnet. You get Charbonnet and JSN, I'm pretty happy. And you get that 24 first.
And that's the other thing too. I mean, our league is like, it's really just doesn't value tight ends at all. So I'm kind of hoping I get Michael Meyer or Dalton Kincaid out of the too, or even Mingo. Mingo could fall too.
Who? Wait, who? Who? Mingo? You say who's Mingo? Who's Mingo? Who's Mingo? Oh, this guy.
Mingo, and Mingo was his name all.
Mingo's fire, bro. Okay, hang real tight, Matt, who hangs up, and if you got to hang up, hang up. Matt Biaggia.
Thank you.
Yeah, Matt Biaggia, you're up.
What's up, Smitty?
What's up, Biaggia?
I got you, and I would like you and Ron Navy to tell me who I should pick right now. I'm on the clock in the Best Ball Mania, $25. 10th round. My team is Jalen Hurts, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, Ron Navy's favorite, Cam Akers, Christian Watson, Terry McLaurin, Jameson Williams, and David Njoku. On the board is Ron Navy, Kirk Cousins. Number 2, Zach Charbonnet, Geno Smith, Rashad Penny, Khalil Herbert, Jared Goff, Dalton Kincaid, Tyler Boyd, Jamal Williams, Dalton Schultz, Darnell Mooney.
I like Charbonnet and
Sky Moore's.
I like Charbonnet and Kincaid right now myself.
I have 4 running backs. My squad is 1 QB, 4 running backs,
you need
wide receivers.
You need wide receivers, bad. List the wide receivers one more time.
I do.
List the wide receivers.
Tyler Boyd, Darnell Mooney, Sky Moore, and then a little bit farther down is this guy named Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah. You know what I do, though? This is just mine. I'll let Ron answer, but I don't force wide receiver here just because no offense, Biaggia, but screwed up and didn't get enough wide receivers. Actually, no, you got McLaurin.
Akers.
Never mind. I'm
when
sorry.
Do I take value?
I'm sorry. You got McLaurin. I forgot you had McLaurin. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't have taken Akers. You're okay. You're actually okay. I'm sorry. I missed.
His value was so high, and I do feel like
I don't like Akers.
I feel like Smitty would have taken someone.
I don't
else.
like Akers, but I will say that
All right.
I actually like your wide receivers enough now because I forgot you. I was looking at J-Mo and Watson, and I'm like, you don't have a wide receiver right here. But here's the thing.
McLaurin and Williams will come along hopefully later for Detroit.
All right, hang on. Here we go. I like Mingo. I like Hyatt later. Hyatt later. Hayat. I like Hyatt later. I like Joshua Downs later. I like a lot of those guys to fill your wide receiver room. And Mingo's how far down is Mingo? Like maybe. Oh.
I think I could get Mingo in my next pick.
Okay. You think? Like, is it lined up barely or?
He's at 134.1 going off the board. And my next pick is 139.
You could go Kincaid, or no, you could go. Who's your tight end? You don't have a tight end yet?
Yeah, no, Njoku, David Njoku.
So basically, you don't have a tight end yet. I'm just kidding.
No,
I don't like.
Njoku?
I don't like Njoku like everybody else. I think he's okay.
He's a top 12.
You got to go Kincaid in the first round. That's a steal.
I'd probably go.
I don't like Njoku.
I'd probably go King.
What about Kirk Cousins?
See, if you here's the problem. Real quick, let me finish, and then I'll let Ron take over on this one. You should have taken Kincaid instead of Njoku, and then you wouldn't be in this problem. Then you'd be able to take whatever you want here. Now you got a problem.
I'm a Brown.
Yeah,
fan, so,
clearly.
I mean, sometimes it gets you.
If you think Mingo can fall, I'd take Kincaid and Charbonnet here, and because the wide receivers I want, I'm getting later too. However,
you don't like Darnell Mooney? Darnell Mooney, you don't think he can be good?
He's all right. I like Hyatt.
DJ Moore there now.
I like Hyatt and Mingo more.
All right.
But give me Kincaid and Charbon. I don't know. You need a wide receiver.
So you want Kincaid for my second? I really feel like I need a wide receiver.
Do you think
Guy Moore?
If you want to avoid tight end, then go Mingo and Charbonnet. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I agree with that. You need Charbonnet to make up for taking Swift, who's going to disappoint you all year long. So you need Charbonnet for that. And Mingo's a great pick for well, it's true.
My next one.
I mean, Swift hasn't done anything the whole time he's been in the league. He hasn't proven
It's not
anything
true yet,
at
Ron.
all.
It's not true yet.
Until he's done, he's worthless. He's worthless.
I like the Swift pick. I think the Akers pick was garbage.
He doesn't get value. He doesn't get value. He doesn't get volume, I should say. I mean, he's
in Philly, Ron.
Ron,
He's in Philly. He's in Philly. You can't say he doesn't get volume. You don't know what he's going to get in Philly. They traded for him.
He went through several coaches already.
Ron,
that
Ron,
didn't
he's
use
in.
him.
Ron,
why they didn't use him.
Ron, you can't speak to his
think-
volume yet. You can't speak to his volume yet. He's in a new situation.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't say he's not going to get volume in Philly. You don't know that.
Yes, I can. It's my opinion, Smitty. Just like you have your opinion, I'm stating it.
Okay.
So yes, I can. God.
So Ron, you're not concerned about me only having 3 wide receivers at this point. The Swift pick was so bad. You want me to take Charbonnet?
Yeah, I think you should go Charbonnet and Mingo. I agree with Smitty on that. And
I think
another
I could get Mingo. You don't like Kincaid and Mingo?
Biaggia,
Yes.
But you can go further down also. You can go further down also, and another receiver you can look at is Reed with Green Bay. He's going to be in the slot, and he should, with Watson, he should get some good targets there in Green Bay. So Reed's another one further down the list that you can pick up cheap.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Biaggia, you probably got to go Mingo. I really wish you would have taken. Let me guess. And I know this is another player Ron doesn't love, but was Kamara there when Akers was taken?
Oh my God! I don't know. I picked Cam Akers at 78. I mean, I can look and try to find Kamara, but I thought Cam for my 4th running back. I just couldn't believe he was there, so I took him.
He's all right.
And now
He's
I
all right.
kind of feel dumb.
He's all right. He's not. It's not horrible. It's decent value, I suppose. I just don't believe in him.
I guess what outweighs the value? Just the need of your team and the structure of where you're at? You just say, hey, I got to let the guy go.
You just got to take the best player at every pick. That's as simple as it is. You know,
I mean, Cam Akers was 7, 8 picks past his 8. You know, is
ADP,
draft capital.
Well,
yeah, but Cam Akers is fallen for a reason. A lot of people don't like the Rams' offense.
But he's my number 4 running back. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but were there other better number 4 running backs to have? Like, you can justify it all you want, but who was there? Was Kamara there?
I'm not.
And you don't have to like Kamara more. That's just a preference. But like,
let me see. Hang on. Let me look.
But there's also players that, like wide receivers, that could have been had instead of Akers. Like, I really like the Swift, Gibbs, Bijan. That's a strong 3. I really like that. And then you come back with a Kamara and Charbonnet later. That's kind of my specialty, my secret sauce. But then Akers could have been a wide receiver to pair with J-Mo. And I like Jameson Williams. It's a really crafty pick. And I don't know, Ron, if you've seen him fall, but the ADP update the other night made Jameson Williams.
Kamara was gone. Kamara was gone. So I couldn't even take Kamara.
Jameson Williams in the.
Elijah Moore, Lazard.
All right, Biagio, hold on a sec. You started to interrupt like Steven. Jameson Williams is falling like another round or something since the ADP update. Like, you can steal. Like, Ron, I don't know if you noticed this, but when you're looking at wide receivers and you're like, damn, who am I going to take now? And you get to some familiar names, all of a sudden Jameson's like below those guys that you're like kind of contemplating. Yep. But Jamo's a really, really, really good wide receiver, like 3 to take in best ball, and then you just back it up with another player that can fill in until he's ready, I think.
Yeah, I took him at 102.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen much from Jameson. He's kind of like Hopkins was, last year. You grab him for the second half of the season, and then you hope that they use him well. But he's worth it. I mean, he's worth a later pick. Also, I would say that going later down in the draft, you got like Chase Brown that you can grab that's a good value way down late in the draft. That's a running back that you can do, and like we just talked about, Kendre Miller, he's another one that you can think about getting. So there's a lot of crafty running backs that you can pick up to help you out.
Rashad White.
Well, he's not going to be available at that point, but. Okay, hey.
Yeah, he won't be available.
All right, hang tight, guys. I got to get over to Frankie Knuckles. All right, Frankie, at the risk of this loud sound we're about to hear, unmute your phone, Frankie, and hit me with whatever question you have. Go.
It's unmute.
Where'd the sound go?
Where's Roschon Johnson going?
Where Chase Brown's going, where, guys like little after Mingo or right around there. Like, that's a great place. Chase Brown's a double-digit pick in Underdog Fantasy. And, obviously promo code Smitty, get in there. I think he's one of my favorite, like, running back 4 or 5s. If I go kind of like Biagio's build right here. Hurts, Bijan, Gibbs, Swift. Like, if I had those 3 RBs, I feel comfortable enough coming back around and getting Charbonnet, Chase Brown, and those guys, and then attack a wide receiver in the meantime. So Chase Brown's a really, really good prospect, but Mixon will be the guy. He will get the start. He will get the chance. Mixon could have some revitalized value this year for one more year, but he kind of looked like he was slowing down, dropping off. Likelihood of injuries pretty high, not guaranteed, but pretty high for him because he's taken a lot of abuse, a lot of mileage. So definitely feel like Chase Brown's one of those big-time sleepers. But A-Chain, Chase Brown, Roschon Johnson, these are all very, very similar running backs that have the same kind of value, and they're going to be taken around the same kind of territory, and they all have, like, no guarantees but huge, home run swing type value. Let's go over to George from the Bay. What do you got, George?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about, can you remember this many question marks regarding, like, the top 10 big-name running backs going into an NFL season?
So here's the ADP. So running backs are in the green. So McCaffrey, Bijan, JT. I mean, McCaffrey, as much as there's question marks about, like, he doesn't have a lot. It's kind of like, okay, when will he fall off? Will he get hurt in San Francisco? But I wouldn't say, like, McCaffrey's going in with a bunch of question marks. He's just kind of like a little bit of a worrisome player because of the past. But, I mean, Bijan, JT's not that big of a question mark, in my opinion. There's some wonder about the offense, I guess. Barkley, not a big question mark. I would say, yeah, Eckler, Chubb. There are some about Tony Pollard. I don't know that this feels crazier than normal. I don't feel like it has. I think it. It feels about normal. There's always question marks.
Like the Derrick Henry question marks. Like, is he going to start falling off? Dalvin Cook mixed in with the.
But those are all
criminal charges.
Those are all third rounders
Kamara.
now. Those are all like third rounders now, and Kamara is like a seventh rounder. So like none of those guys are in the top, 20. Like Derrick Henry's go.
No, I mean like top 10 like running backs from like the big name guys that like we normally go after.
Yeah, but top 10 running back, I would say like Henry's probably still I guess top 10 to a lot of people, but he's like falling into round 3. So I'm not that worried about it. Like if you draft Derrick Henry in round 3, honestly I could do it. I could find myself doing it because if I could get, let's say, Javonte and Derrick Henry together, Javonte might get kick-started right when if Henry does fall off. So Henry in round 3 is a whole different ball game than drafting him in the top 5 with the concern that we have right now about will he fall off, when will he fall off, how many games in, will he be able to go one more year. So Henry actually has decent value. Kamara, if he's a first rounder, which he kind of dips into like the 12, 13 turn sometimes he goes early, sometimes he doesn't. I think if he falls into round 2, I'll be interested in it, but I'll also be wanting to trade him before double-digit weeks for sure. But I mean, I don't think the running backs have that many questions. There's a lot of new running backs injected into the top like 5 and 8. I guess Breece Hall with the ACL, Kenneth Walker falling out of the top 5. There's a little chaos going on, I suppose, at the position. But you got Gibbs, you got Bijan. I think there's a lot of good players that have been injected into the top 10 that we now can say is still pretty solid. But I don't know. Doesn't feel.
Kamara had a terrible year last year.
Yeah,
he had a terrible year last year.
Yeah.
And this year, I mean, he's facing maybe a suspension. And no, I can't. But hey, everybody, don't forget about like if you're down in the bottom of your drafts, like last pick or whatever, you can get Tucker for nothing. Take a chance on Tucker. Remember, we were huge on Tucker at one point, and he's medically cleared. So don't forget, you can take a chance on Tucker as an option for a late pick.
Yeah, he's still got solid upside. Especially in like the last couple of rounds when you're really like picking up somebody you're gonna drop later. Like everybody picks up somebody in round, like if you do a 17, 18 round draft in round 17 and 18, those are the guys you drop like later on. Not to mention if you go kicker and D, a lot of times I'll take a D because I do like grabbing a solid D that I believe in. But then I won't take a kicker, and then I'll pick up a kicker right before week 1, so you can kind of have an extra roster spot. So like a Tucker would be a great pickup, a Deuce Vaughn would be a great pickup, a running back like I don't know. I think Tucker's a good example. Kendra Miller would be great just to pick up and hold instead of a kicker.
Even Evan Hall, because he's a great catching back, and he'll be behind JT. But if something happens to JT, he'll fill that spot nicely.
Bruce, what do you got, Bruce?
What are you thinking? I don't know if you did this, but what are you thinking of this Andrew Luck, the NFL looking into it? Tampering, supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of wait and see on it, but it's interesting. The NFL certainly coming out with stuff right now to, I don't know, get ahead of it maybe. Like when they did that whole Jameson Williams suspension, you wondered why they came out with it if it was going to come out ahead of time. Like did they get a lead on that they got to break this now? Tough to say, but I don't know. The NFL is so strange about the things that they go after and bring up, and they're very, very, I don't know, very inconsistent with it. I'm just kind of waiting and seeing, bro.
Okay.
It's a weird one. Let's go back to Frankie Knuckles. Frankie, what else you got, pal?
Tyler Scott. I like him late. I think he's got some upside.
Yeah, he does. He definitely falls in that same like territory of like Tucker, of Kendra Miller, Josh Downs. Like those are all guys that I think sometimes get way overlooked. Like Downs could either go at the end of every draft, or sometimes people just don't even like target him. And also Tank Dell, Nathaniel Dell in Houston. That is very, very much him, Tyler Scott, Sean Tucker, like Ron said. All those guys are real nice little prospects at the end of a draft. Hyatt seems to be going earlier and earlier now, though. Oftentimes in a
He's right with Mingo.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him later, but sometimes he goes real high, and I'm shocked that
What
he's
about
going high.
Allen Robinson at the end of a draft? Ron Navy.
Who?
Allen Robinson.
No, I
you
think
can take a
Calvin Austin.
He's
They got
not
Calvin
going to be.
Austin. Yeah. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, well, no, I mean he's got to compete with Calvin Austin for third wide receiver spot. So
He's one of the last picks.
Yeah, as a wide receiver 4, but you know he's fine. He could actually win the job from Calvin Austin. We don't know. Calvin Austin was injured all last year as a rookie, so Robinson brings that veteran, so he's able to step in. So yeah, I mean he's like, if you got to play him in a flex, I wouldn't put him in the top.
No,
2.
for best ball. I'm saying best ball.
But in the flex, in best ball, way down. Drop
Your last pick, Allen Robinson.
He's okay. He's okay, bro. If Tank Dell's there, take Tank Dell.
I've done a few, but I'd rather take a chance like on Scott and Dell and those guys, the rookies, than Robinson, to be honest.
Yeah, take Tank Dell if he's there.
Because usually I'm, if I get Pickett and Pickens and I get Freiermuth, once in a while I'll throw in Deontay Johnson just because.
What a stack. That's a Steeler fan. I like it though.
Well, yeah, and I vary from different things. So.
I like
I
Calvin
would like
Austin
to hear
coming into the league.
Smitty, I'd like to hear your Arizona Cardinal stack team.
My Arizona Cardinal, what?
You're like if you were going to go stack in fantasy best ball.
I mean, I wouldn't target the Cardinals for any sort of stack. I wouldn't.
I'm just saying,
yeah,
if you have to do it as
I mean, if I had to do it, I mean, of course I would take Hopkins and Kyler. I'm not really interested in a lot of Cardinals though.
I'm afraid Tyler ain't going to play.
Well,
so
but
I'm
I mean, who else is there to pick though? I mean, those are the only two.
Who's the backup? Colt McCoy.
No, I'm not gonna draft Colt McCoy. You get a limited number of games out of that. That wouldn't be a strategy. But like if you're forcing me to take Kyler and Hopkins, then I would do it. But Cardinals are
that's good. That's
Cardinals
solid.
are a team to stay away from.
Connor. He should be solid.
All right.
Right?
All right, hang tight, Biagio. Hold on one second. Let's go back over to Brucey, and then I'm gonna probably get everybody off the line. I feel like the show's getting out of control here. Brucey, you're live. What do you got?
Hey, my question is between how late can I wait for like a tight end? Like,
I mean, it depends on if you believe in the guys like Mingo, and you can get Cole Kmet and Kincaid. You can get Cole Kmet and Kincaid together. You can get a Okonkwo a lot later than you should be getting him. I think he's a great late grab. I think sometimes I find myself grabbing like a Kincaid, and I guess Cole Kmet would be the latest guy I'd want to pair with him. And Cole Kmet's going late. Cole Kmet's not. He's there. He's always there in best ball. Very, very late. I love Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet was he's an underrated option in 2023 for a guy in Fields that just now got a deep stretching playmaker and DJ Moore. So Cole Kmet's going to be the last thing the defenses are keying on. And if DJ Moore is stretching that defense out, Cole Kmet's going to have a lot more open space and room to run. He's going to be wide open at times across the middle, hanging out in short yardage situations where Fields is going to easily dump it off to him to avoid maybe running a little bit, try and run a little less. So,
and I got one more question. With the Seahawks draft and this other receiver, how much does that affect DK's value? Is he going to go down, stay the same?
I mean, if anybody's going to flip into the number 2 for his team and the other guy go to the number 1, probably will be JSN and DK, I imagine. JSN's talented enough to take the job, like to take the focal point, the starting wide receiver 1 job, but DK's still strong enough. I don't know if Geno is. Geno had a really good year last year considering, so like I think we sell him short, and I admittedly probably am not high enough on him. But I just, I think the Seahawks feel the same way because they were talking about Anthony Richardson like crazy. And I don't think that was smoke. I think they really, really wanted to maybe go Anthony Richardson. So clearly they have their concerns as well. But I don't know if this offense is going to be good enough in terms of the passing attack, like numbers-wise. I think it's going to be an efficient team. They could win the division. The Niners don't clean up their quarterback situation or figure it out. The Seattle Seahawks can walk in and just win the division. But that doesn't mean that they're going to have a high enough octane passing attack because they're going to be a run-heavy team. They're going to run the ball a lot. I don't know that DK and JSN can both coexist as low-end wide receiver 1s, which can happen from time to time with those type of talents that are side by side. Like look at Higgins and Burrow. I think that you're probably looking at one of these guys not doing as well as you expect in 2023, or both of them like eating into each other's production, even if it means that DK blows up at the beginning of the year and JSN blows up at the end of the year, but you end up getting screwed either way, owning either one of them, because you either have a slow start or you have a very bad finish. But I don't think DK survives this as a wide receiver, like a really solid wide receiver 1. Could he sneak into the top 12, 13, 14 based on touchdowns? Maybe. But I get a sense that there's not enough volume there for DK to survive. Whereas JSN, he's going to probably get so many receptions because he's going to be that short yardage guy in the slot, getting linebacker coverage sometimes. I think his reception totals will be high enough that even if he doesn't have as consistent of a year as we want, he's still going to get a lot of receptions. But we'll see. I don't know. Not extremely excited about that situation, to be honest, except for if I own both running backs or if I own just Charbonnet. Past that, I kind of feel like I'm, in a way, avoiding Seattle's passing game. Unless DK falls to a great value, which he doesn't typically fall to. Maybe he will with an updated ADP soon on Underdog. But like DK's still going pretty high.
Okay.
Let me go around the ring. Let me go around the ring real quick. Frankie, final thoughts, Frankie.
Okonkwo, I like him this year. I think he could get some north of 700 yards.
Yeah, I like him.
800-900 yard season, especially if Will Levis comes in and plays good.
I like him, but I do worry that passing attack not only will be very bad, but even if Levis comes in, I don't know that they're going to support him enough. But we'll see. Maybe they shock us, but I think Tennessee's going to struggle.
I think we might even be better if Tannehill does start with him.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
Right?
We'll see. I like Okonkwo. I just don't love his situation. I don't like it. I think that's why people are letting him fall, because I think he had such a good, promising year. If, let's say, they upgraded their quarterback situation a little bit, I think people will be ranking him really, really high. But I think because it's kind of like I don't know. It feels like the Rams when Stafford went down and Kupp went down and that offense just fell apart. Like, I feel like the way the Rams felt that's the way the Titans offense is going to feel without Stafford and Kupp. It's just going to be stagnant. It's going to be really, really unimpressive. But maybe Henry balls out in the beginning of the year. They move the football. Maybe Burke starts to evolve. Who knows? But I don't really have faith in the Titans, staff either.
Yeah,
this is.
I was thinking of him as more like a tight end too.
Yeah.
And trying to get Cole Kmet as my tight end 1.
Yeah.
Because I got Fields,
Yeah. Grant Pierce dropping a $2 hauler. Grant, appreciate you. Grant says, huge fan of Juwan Johnson's pretty good. And I think that, we don't know what Taysom Hill's role is going to be. Derek Carr may shove Taysom Hill back into the tight end spotlight, or it could make Taysom Hill not heard it from very often. It's kind of hard to know. Hard to bank on Taysom Hill. I like Taysom Hill as like a third tight end in the back end of a best ball draft where I want to roster 3 tight ends. But I don't know that I love drafting Taysom Hill as much as I did last year without really knowing too much what's going to happen with him. So Juwan Johnson does feel like he's a little bit more solidified in a role with Derek Carr. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I agree with that. Frankie Knuckles, appreciate you, pal. Call in later.
All right.
George
Thanks,
from
Minnie.
George from the Bay. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that Hyatt passing game in New York because, Daniel Jones really didn't impress that much last year with their passing offense. They were good because they had a good defense and a good run game with Barkley. So, what do you really project Hyatt to be this year? Like a wide receiver 3, maybe borderline 3, what?
Yeah, I think you could definitely. Rookies come along so quickly now at the NFL level, wide receiver rookies. I think there's certainly some sort of wide receiver 3 value here. I really, really do. I think he landed in a great situation. Even if you're feeling that way about Danny Dimes, trust in Dable. Dable he knows what he's doing. His offenses produce. He turned Danny Dimes into gold, essentially, considering what he was working with from just scrap metal into a piece of gold. Maybe it's beat up gold. Maybe it's not a fully well-rounded bar of gold, but he turned him into something special considering. And I think that he had some wide receivers. I liked Richie James and they had Hodgins kind of come on strong. And Hodgins is somebody we keep forgetting about. He goes pretty late in drafts now. He's still pretty decent. But I think Hyatt's going to be the number 1 there, have the best shot at it. And I don't know, maybe giving him that big fat contract, Danny Dimes, maybe this is the year he evolves as the passer. Keep in mind, if this, and I'm not saying he's the next Josh Allen, believe me, Josh Allen coming out as a rookie before he even took a snap, I said he'd be a top 1 to 5 quarterback. I'm not saying that about Danny Dimes. I've never said that about Danny Dimes. I will never say that about Danny Dimes. But if we look at the path that Josh Allen took, keep in mind, this is exactly what happened to Josh Allen. He ran the ball well. People said, I just don't know about him as a passer. It was the next season after he had his breakout running season without the passing that Dable turned Josh Allen into a passing monster. So if we dumb that down and water it down a lot, because Danny Dimes is not the raw product that Josh Allen was and the amount of upside Josh Allen had, if we take that same formula, Danny Dimes should take another at least decent step in terms of passing because that's the exact blueprint that Josh Allen had. So I like Hyatt. Hyatt, wide receiver 3, Smitty approved.
Right on.
All right, appreciate you, George. Matt Biaggia, final thoughts.
I am going to go with Dalton Kincaid. I am going to take him over Charbonnet because you said Njoku is not a tight end 1.
Well, he's okay. I just don't love him.
He's already been selected.
Yeah.
Kincaid.
I like it.
Okay.
Smash.
And I'll probably try to get Mingo, Hyatt on my next pick.
Did you get Charbonnet, you said, with the other pick?
No, I didn't take him. I have 4 running backs.
Who'd you take?
I got Bijan,
Kincaid and who?
Gibbs, Swift, and Akers.
Kincaid and who?
I only had 1 pick.
Oh, I thought you had 2.
It was Kincaid.
So you get
No,
two.
sorry.
So you get 2 picks. Yeah, make sure you get Hyatt, Downs, Tank Dell. Those are all guys you want to
I
target.
can maybe get Mingo. I could get Mingo
For sure,
on my next
for
pick.
sure. I'm just saying, in addition to,
You like him just slightly better than Hyatt?
yeah, I like him a lot more than Hyatt because I think Mingo's.
I mean, they're right next to each other.
Yeah, I like Mingo a lot
on the
more. Not a ton more, but
I think I'll get him.
All right.
I think I should get him.
all right.
So,
Mingo was his
maybe
name.
4
Mo.
picks over.
Later, man.
Yep. Thanks.
Brucey. Oh, Bruce dropped off. Ron Navy. Final thoughts.
Yeah, well, you know how frustrated I was last night, but it all worked out. In my first rookie dynasty league, I had the 3 picks, and before the NFL draft, I was thinking of taking Charbonnet, but then he went to Seattle, so I took the 3 picks, traded it for a 5-7 pick, traded the 7 pick to the guy who owns Walker, and he got Walker because he wanted to move up to try to get one of the quarterbacks, and then I was able to pick up Charbonnet. So I got the Charbonnet Walker combo.
That's nice.
I was happy.
I mean, that's definitely makes you feel good. The thing about Dynasty is like, it's so weird how you want to feel satisfied with the longevity no matter what. It's so hard to think year to year. It's important to do both. But like to have Walker without Charbonnet, you almost hate your team. You know, you almost you have to like fill those holes, but in Dynasty, or you just can't sleep at night. So I'm sure you'll sleep like a baby tonight.
I was on edge, and I was like, if I can't get Walker, I'm not drafting Charbonnet. I'm pivoting and I'm taking other players. But it worked out how I.
Yeah. Speaking of
I was happy.
speaking of like bad leagues or leagues where there's problems, Sick Nasty $5 holler. Thank you. Moonshot to you, pal.
To the moon.
He says that, dude, my league wanted to say it's illegal to do the draft day call with you, Smitty. We're going to have to do it on the low. That is illegal.
How do you take that? I mean, is that more of like almost like a compliment that they made a special rule that you can't do a draft call with you?
I mean, I guess you take it as a compliment, but it's a weird. Who are you?
You're just that damn good.
Maybe he's joking, but like if that was like a true determination, like by the league, like that. Who are you to say what you can do on draft day, bro? You just put it in an earbud, and literally, you could just like talk out loud. Go, oh, do I take Charbonnet? Do I take? Oh. We'll get it done, bro. We'll get it done. Or we can do a Zoom Zoom call, and I'll talk to you. You just have me in your ear, and I'll just watch the board. We'll get it done. Anybody? Oh, he says no joke, Smitty. Wow, that's unreal. No joke, Smitty. It's not a joke. If anybody wants to order a draft call, just get on over to. You can get the one-on-one text device, but you could also order a draft call at thefantasyfootballshow.com. By the way, the time slots fill up pretty quickly, as you can imagine. There's only so many weekends people draft, like in August especially. So like those time slots can go really quickly. So if anybody wants to book those, book it soon. Ron, anything else? I probably won't be live tonight unless there's breaking news. I might go live on the Dynasty channel late night. But
No, I finally got some sleep. I was up all night and leg was swollen, foot was swollen, and finally took a med and went to sleep. Woke up about 1 this afternoon, so I'm good now.
Yeah.
So anyways, great shows. Yeah, I liked your premieres you did.
Yeah, thanks.
Went back and watched them, and they were good. I liked them.
Thanks, man.
Have a good night.
All right, later, Ron. Ron Navy, everybody. Where's my Ron? We got to play the Ron Navy song. Hold on. Ron the Don. Ron the Don. Here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ron the Don.
The Bruce is loose.
This is Rock Out, and he's in the building. I be going spitting that fire. I be going preaching to your choir.
Terry, he's scary. Terry's on patrol.
He's Denny. Denny. He's Denny.
Speaking of Denny, we haven't heard from Denny. We haven't heard from Denny in quite a while. Denny? Denny? Where is Denny? We haven't heard from Denny in quite a while. Getting a little worried. Getting a little bit worried. Mike with a super chat says Amari Cooper, top 12 wide receiver. Not crazy. And I appreciate your super chat.
To the moon.
All $10 haulers get a moonshot. My man, Mike. Appreciate you. Not crazy. I admit I don't give Amari Cooper enough respect. He had a pretty strong year last year, but I do feel like when Watson got in there, the offense got a little stagnant. And Chubb, who dominated the first half of the season, Chubb was on fire. Like, if Chubb continued his play the way, even remotely close to the play he started the year with, like the first 6, 7, 8 games, he would have been by far and away the number one running back in fantasy football last year. And probably would have walked into this year as like a top 6 pick just because people would be like, he did so good. But when Watson came in for that 6 games or whatever it was, Chubb didn't score a single rushing touchdown. So I have my concerns about Watson folding and just so much pressure, so much time off. I'm staying away from Watson. Until he proves it. I'm not saying Watson can't prove it, but I definitely feel like it's an avoid for me. Denny? Denny? I'm out of here. On that note, here is your Kincaid animation. I'll see you all later. If news breaks, I will be live. If not, I'll probably be live on the Dynasty channel at some point late tonight. Peace out. Appreciate all the super chats. Thank you to all my super chatters. Denny, where are you? Just to let everybody know, we have over, I think, 1,300 comments in this live stream. We've been live for 2 hours and we have 1,300 comments. We beat that number before. We've had during the season, during the start bench advice shows and all that, we've had 3,000 before. But all you guys are awesome. 1,300 comments. Thank you, Sick Nasty, for the super chat. See you on the Zoom call, Sick Nasty. Just Sherman, Ron Navy, Garrett, Ron Navy, Grant, Pierce, Sick Nasty again, and Mike. And Mark just became a YouTube exclusive member. If anybody wants to become a YouTube exclusive member, I'm going to drop that link right this very second. This is how you become a member. It is right on screen right now. Just pinned, or right on the live chat right now. Just pinned it. Hold on. Trying to pin it. Pinned it right now. Go get your YouTube exclusive membership on. See you all tonight. Appreciate you. Or tonight if I'm doing the let me drop the Dynasty link. If I do a Dynasty live stream, I'll go live on this channel if there's breaking news, but I'm definitely going to try my best to go on the Dynasty channel. Please subscribe to this Dynasty channel. I'm going to now pin that link and leave this as the pin link on the way out the door here. I really would love for all of you to follow me on the Dynasty channel or subscribe to the Dynasty channel because we're going to be dropping a lot of content this year. I went live earlier today. Phoenix Suns. Hey, remember real quickly, remember that guy? Who was it that came in here and was like, Smitty, remember when you said the Suns 0-2, Smitty? Remember when you said the Suns? The Suns are 2-2 now. They tied up the series. The Suns are going the distance. They're 2-2. They tied the series up. They started 0-2. The guy came in running his mouth about the Suns. Look at the Suns now, pal. Look at them now, pal. Take a long, hard look. Thank you, Mitch. Subscribe to that Dynasty channel. It's pinned in the live chat. Gonna try and go live tonight. I'll see you all later.